Evidently, I learned how to use the countdown clock. And Dom is looking dapper this evening. What are you wearing, Dom? Armani.
I have.
Dom has officially started again. Dom has officially found his poppycocker paraphernalia. So now we know what the Dom is wearing. We got Afghanistan, baby. Oh yeah, in the house. We got Pimp named Slickback saying 2-0, fellas. 2-0. 2-0, Dom. We are dose and O.
It is unexpected, right?
Unexpectedly, we're 2-0. Well, some people will be like, well, I knew it all along. Yeah, you're full of shit.
Yeah, the ones that thought we were going 17-0.
We're going 17-0. We got Mike Lee in his house. We're going 17-0. You should know this. You should know better. We got the vaunted Dallas Cowboys coming up on Monday Night Football. I think this is one of our only primetime games we have this year. That tells you how much the schedulers of the NFL believed in the New York Football Giants. And they're all wrong. They're all sucking on it because we're going 17-0.
My 4-0 is starting to look a bit light, but I did say, look, I still don't think we're a great football team, but you got to celebrate being 2-0, right? I mean, happy days right now.
Well, you have to celebrate 2-0. You have to. It's not. Afghanistan says it's not. This is not an easy game. It's not an easy game coming up, and I know a lot of Giant fans are penciling it in already because Dak is out and you got Cooper Rush and
they've got no left tackle either.
You got Gallup. Looks like he's coming back. You still got CD Lamb. You got Pollard. You still got Elliott. You still got a defense that has played well at times, and you have Daniel Jones, who is. I want to think something nice to say about Daniel Jones. I really did. I thought about this. I thought about this the other day, and I want to think of something nice. I want to think of something nice to say.
I can feel the build up. I can feel you sort of building up to spread the love.
I'm going to spread the love with Daniel Jones. I'm going to say something nice.
I mean, I'm shut down. I'm ready.
And the nicest thing that I am going to say about Daniel Jones is for 2 weeks straight, he has been able to find the stadium and show up. Now, the problem is he doesn't fucking show up on the field, but he is able to find the stadium. That's something nice, right?
Yeah. Do you want me to give it a go?
No, because I'm not done yet. I've been sick. So I'm not done yet. I'm still not feeling well, but there's this what are you laughing about? Shut up.
I'm laughing at you being an irritable old man.
What's that?
I'm laughing at you being a grumpy old man.
I am a grumpy old man. I had to top off the Jeep today. Oh, I got a new car.
Oh, nice.
The midget mobile is gone. I got a Jeep Gladiator. It was a manly car. The hood comes off and everything. It's like very manly.
I mean, for British viewers, if it's a Gladiator, if you called it the Wolf.
No, but I laugh because we're in the car today, and I'm driving because my wife's with me because we're gonna go pick up my son at school, and she looks at me because I got the top off. I'm leaning back, and
your hair's flowing in the wind,
flowing in the breeze, and
you look like Barbie.
She looks at me and goes, "Boy, you don't look any more cocky and arrogant in this car." Daniel Jones, nice kid. Maybe you want him to date your daughter. He's
a bit old for my daughter.
He's not your quarterback, though. We've already proven that he is not going to be here. And I laugh because you have all these people that all of a sudden are coming out of the woodwork, bashing Daniel Jones and pointing out things that were wrong that he's done. Now, these are the same people who have prayed to the altar of Daniel Jones for 2.5, 3 years. Now, all of a sudden, like, well, we've known all the time. We've known all along he sucked. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit.
No, I think they might have known that he wasn't up to it. They just didn't want to admit it.
No. These are the same people that posted shit on Twitter, made videos about how wonderful Daniel Jones is and how he just needs the chance. Okay, let me tell you something right now. The Kafka / Dable offense looks no different than the Jason Garrett offense, besides the fact that Saquon Barkley's finally running the ball. It looks different.
Which is due to his return from injury rather than because Jason Garrett didn't trust him. he's now fully healthy. Saquon, I mean.
He's fully healthy, but it looks the same. You want to know why it looks the same? You want to know why? Do you want me to drop some knowledge?
It's the limitations of the quarterback and the wider offense.
Do you want me to drop some knowledge on you?
You do that.
Kansas City runs a very similar offense to Jason Garrett. And it is the limitation, and a man should know his limitations. It is the limitations of your quarterback that is dumbfounding this offense or putting it stuck in the mire. You got an offense that barely averages 265 yards a game. And most of those yards the other week came on running plays, rushes.
And one long throw.
And one long lucky throw. You have people now pointing out on videos, because I love it, because I have people that send me stuff on Twitter, and I love it because my Twitter blew up today, and I'm looking at all these DMs, and it's all about people like pointing out things that Daniel Jones does wrong and all the people he missed that were wide open. Well, no, duh, Sherlock.
Well, it's not new.
I had to cough there.
That's all right. It's not new though. No. It's been happening for years. I mean, Shermer narrowed the field. He halved the field for him, right? I mean, and that was 2-3 years ago.
Keep talking.
I'll keep talking. But to your point, though, we've seen this consistently from him. The guy takes checkdowns when he can't do his first read.
Right.
The guy cannot read the rush even if it's coming straight at him.
Nope.
He makes risky, dodgy decisions. You know, the crossbody throw to James was a nice throw because it got there, but how many times did we see that go wrong? Yep, we got lucky he didn't make an interception at the end of the first half.
At the end, if he throws an interception, the guy is still running.
It's a pick six.
Yep.
And he, as you said earlier, he misses wide open plays consistently. He doesn't see them.
But the problem is, it's not that he missed. I would be fine if he missed.
If he threw it and missed,
I would be fine.
Dropped. Yeah.
Now, Mr. Lewis, I'm feeling a little bit better. I'd be fine if he missed, but he's not even throwing the ball.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And when I say misses them, I mean as in he doesn't see them, not that he throws and misses. You know, and as you say, if he throws and misses, or he throws and it's a good play from the defense, or he throws and it's dropped, fine. But we're not seeing it, and that's why he's not our quarterback. You know, the last 2 weeks he has, if I'm being kind, game managed. Yes. But you don't win games in this league by game managing.
This cannot,
and you will get found out. And we cannot against better sides. We cannot win games like this.
We cannot.
We won't. We are getting results above ourselves, and that's credit to the team. They are showing character. They are showing belief, and they are not giving up. They are not giving up. On defense this week, we were missing some key guys, and they did not give up at all. They kept going and going and going, and that is credit to the team. Credit to Dable. Credit to the players, credit to the fans who got behind the team. But you will, with this quarterback, you are limited in what you can achieve, and you will not win championships like this. And that's not to bash Daniel Jones. That is a fact.
He is Trent Dilfer of the Baltimore Ravens, the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. He is, because Trent Dilfer had no business being their quarterback, but he was their quarterback on their Super Bowl run. Yeah, that's all he is.
And so what's his name at the Eagles a few years ago? Foles.
Foles, yes, but Foles at least played well down the stretch.
Well, that is true.
And actually had. How bad do we want Jalen Hurts?
I mean, I don't want Jalen Hurts, but would I take him over Daniel Jones? Of course.
Of course. I've said it before. I would take Jalen Hurts right away. I said I did a video last year saying if you had to put me in a room and said Jalen Hurts, Daniel Jones, I'm taking Jalen Hurts because he progresses. He gets better. Daniel Jones is consistently the same bad. DJ checkdowns very well. That's DJ's new name. DJ checkdown. If Daniel Jones struggles and the Giants are in the game, I feel Tyrod will take over. I do feel that. I do feel.
Do you mean in the Cowboys game, or do you mean as the season progresses?
I don't think he's going to get benched. I don't think he's going to get benched in the Cowboys
games. No, I was going to say I don't think he gets benched.
Unless he's playing horrid and the Giants are in it, then he gets benched.
But 5-6 games
I don't see it happening right now.
5-6 games down the stretch, he might get benched.
He might get benched. Big Blue says, "Hope you're feeling better, Tim. I'm feeling okay." That was a dope gift. Your ticket to James. Good people still exist. Let's go, James. Yes, I was supposed to take James to the game on his birthday, but I got sick. So I made sure that I gave James both my season tickets and my red lot parking pass, so he could go with a friend and still enjoy the festivities and everything else. So, as Dom will tell you, I was sulking. I was sulking there. Mr. Alvarez says,
as a true friend, I checked you were fine and then took the pick out of you. I mean,
you did. You did. After watching the Eagles play yesterday, defensively, how Jones is going to play the Eagles is going to beat the brakes off the Giants. The Eagles look good right now, but like I said, you know what? As well as the Eagles look and as well as the Giants look and as bad as some teams look, it's only 2 games. We get to 8, then we can start talking about
Carolina Panthers won the first 3 last year.
We talked about that. Cam says Daniel Jones to get benched on Monday Night Televised. I'll say this: if Daniel Jones is playing horrid, or Daniel Jones is playing like he normally plays, now you have to give him all the credit in the world for running for the first down.
At the end of that was a very nice.
You gotta give him all the credit in the world, but then you also have to sit there and say we shouldn't even be in this position. The way the defense plays, you have 2 turnovers on 2 plays by the Carolina Panthers back to back, and you come away with 6.
How our conversion rate in the red zone? I don't know what it was, but it must be horrid, or it's almost non-existent. I'll keep going while you have a little choke.
Keep going.
Yeah, but I mean, but it is, and again, that's consistent over the last few years. And while you could say some of it's on the coaching, some of it's on the line, it's excuses again. And your quarterback has to be the one that can make the plays and can carry a team, and he can't, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine, but it doesn't win you championships, and he doesn't become your championship winning quarterback on a consistent basis. You know, I thought last year, if I'm honest, that players like Kenny G and the tight end whose name escapes me, who we gave the contract to despite being injured, you know, I thought they might help him in the red zone.
Brilliant.
And we still didn't improve in the red zone, and we haven't been good again in the red zone now. You know, and it's been consistent with various coaches. You know, I will give Jones some credit when he does well, and there are parts of his game that he does well, but not consistently, and that's the issue.
Pimp Thing Slick Black said it best, and these are the videos people were sending me. I don't know if you guys have seen it. There are 5 plays on Twitter where Daniel Jones missed Stills and Tony wide open downfield, just in the Carolina game, lone clean pocket. That's what I'm talking about.
And there were loads last week as well.
People kept DMing me these plays, and I was like, "Yeah, I know. I've been saying this for 2.5 years. I mean, I don't know what else to say." Yes, Mike Lee, that was Magnum. Force man has to know his limitations. Clint Eastwood. Jay Fed is 2-0, 3-0 in the last 3 starts for the Giants. That's okay. Okay.
What's his overall record, Jay Fed?
Yeah. Hurts over 300 yards total offense. Jones of the half. He's got to do better if we want to beat Dallas. You're right. Our conversion rate is like 17%. What is that? Our conversion rate? I didn't even know our conversion rate was that low. You guys don't understand. He's not working with a premier. You know what? Bullshit. Sorry to Giants. I'm going to call it bull. I'm in a bad mood. Bullshit. Let me tell you why. David Patton, Jabbar Gaffney. Those were some of the big names that Tom Brady in this early part of his career had to work with. Okay.
Shall we do the lack of offensive line? Would you like to go?
Let's do lack of offensive line too. We don't have an offensive line, really, because Pimp named Slickback just told me there's 5 plays going around right now on Twitter that he's got a clean pocket. We talked about the play that he could have stepped up that one day, that 63-yard bomb. And people are like, well, he had a rush in front of him. No, to Dom's point, if you watch that play, the defensive lineman's like 3 yards away from him.
Evan Neal was blocking like an absolute all-pro on that.
You could easily have stepped up and thrown that ball.
But he didn't. He threw it off the back foot, and it nearly dropped short, and Shepard had to adjust to catch it.
And I love it because people are like, well, he threw off his back foot. Yes, because of the fact that he's a moron. You don't throw off your back foot when you can step into the pocket. What are you laughing about?
You'll see. Keep going down the comments.
Oh, God. Magnum Force. What do we got here? Hey, Jeffrey, what's up? Winning games, sure, but is off the pass catchers and his quarterback. He sucks. It's making everyone fed up regardless of winning. Yeah, you know what? It's funny that everyone is just like. No,
it doesn't make me fed up, right? Because
no, I think it does some people.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying it doesn't make me fed up because we've won 2 games and it's nice to have won 2
Hey, listen,
games.
I'm happy we won 2 games.
I'm just realistic enough to know that if I don't want to just win 2, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6 games a season, I want to win 12, 13 games and I want to go deep in the playoffs. And for that, you need a elite quarterback 9 times out of 10. And he's not that. He's a good backup. He's a low end starter if you want to be
Right.
optimistic about it. But I want to win championships, and you can't win championships with Daniel Jones, and that's the difference. It's not to bash him. I just don't think he's good enough to win championships, and that's what I would like to see. Thank you.
And to all the morons who have been posting in my comments saying the Giants are 2-0, you said they're only going to win 5 games. Don't you look stupid? Dumb morons. I'm a season ticket holder. If the Giants win, I am seeing a winning product. If by the grace of God the Giants go to the playoff games, when your fat ass is sitting at home, I'm going to a playoff game. So you know what? This is one of those times that it's okay to be wrong. You would prefer to be wrong.
Oh, we're buying into the new regime right now. You know,
Right.
no question. I mean, you buy into the new regime. No, well, you didn't. Admittedly, you didn't with Joe Judge.
Oh my God! I just saw this. You know what?
There you go. I was waiting for it.
They would have not up in here. Not up in here.
You're getting put in time out for being stupid.
I was waiting for you to spot.
You're putting time for. He's always had a better line. Oh, you are so stupid. I can't deal with stupid people today. I can't. When you're sick, I lose my patience.
I mean, you don't exactly have the best patience when you're not sick.
And I love it because it's shut up. It reverts to old Tim from his 30s. That doesn't take shit from anyone. If you say something stupid, I just say you're stupid. That's what happens when I get sick. That patience level, it goes away.
When I just take the trolley back for you, you just leave it because you're impatient.
There you go. Shut up. Timmy, let's go 3-0 and jump on the Cowboys. 1/3 and 9 wild card. Hey, listen, I'll be happy we get a wild card. Afghanistan says Kyle Rudolph is who he is talking about.
The tight end that I couldn't remember the name.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Afghanistan. I didn't know it.
Yeah, thank you. No, you're spot on. That's exactly who I meant.
Jalen Hurts brought a bad Eagles team to the playoffs last year. I don't think the Eagles were bad last year. I don't think they were bad. People get tired of this. Every year it's the same excuse. Oh, it's a new playbook. Oh, it's the offensive line. Oh, it's the receiver. Maybe the most important position on the field. Here's the thought. Where's the rest of the thought? I'm waiting for the rest. I'm just going to sit here and wait for the rest of the thought. That's how this works, right? You know what? You had me. I am that I am, but I need to know the rest of the thought. Golden Tate.
He is true.
He's not wrong. He's 100% right. Not to be negative, but I'm already seeing Eagles fans saying Hurts is an MVP contender. Already signed Danny Dimes up. You know what? At this moment in time, Jalen Hurts is an MVP contender. He is.
Well, he's one of 6 quarterbacks to be 2-0, and he's playing all right. I don't think he will win the MVP. I think.
Well, I don't think he's going to win the. I don't think.
I think that is an absolute top of the overreaction. You know.
I love this because you always love these. Fancy this. There is a bloke named Dominic Palmer. Jolly good. Pasta crumpets, love.
I do like a nice bit of crumpet.
Oh,
you can take that any way you like.
You know what's even better now? Now that my voice is shot to hell, I think I got a better British accent now. Hello, love. What you doing?
Dick Van Dyke's back.
Go and put another shrimp on the barbie. Jamie says, I'm enjoying our 2-0, but I'd rather have an elite quarterback. I am enjoying the 2-0. I am. I'm enjoying it.
Well, look, we said at the start of the season, right? You want to enjoy the season. That's why you bought a season ticket.
Right. That's the reason. That's the reason. Because I knew it was going to be bad. And that I bought because I want to have fun. Jeffrey Iver said Giants would be so much better with optimal quarterback play, not what number 8 is doing, safe ball. It's the same offense. They're running this. And I love it because I wish I remember. I think his name was, I can't remember who sent me all the DMs. He showed me all these DMs on Twitter about, I think it was Dan Graziano. I can't remember who it was, or Dan Schneider or somebody that was showing me, the plays that Daniel Jones had and how it was very similar, if not almost identical to what they were running last year. So what does that tell you?
Well, I would hark back to the Seattle game. Hark
back away.
But it was the same plays then. It was the same plays as we were looking to run last season. It was the same plays we're really running now. So nothing's changed because the offense isn't good enough
No.
By bar Barkley to do anything different. And that goes to a line. It goes to wide receivers. It goes for tight ends. It goes to the quarterback. But it's your quarterback. If you put Mahomes in here, and look, that's not fair to compare him to Daniel Jones, but you put Mahomes in here, you're winning a lot more games than you are with Daniel Jones. No question about it.
Who was picked higher in the draft? Patrick Mahomes or Daniel Jones?
DJ.
Yeah, there you go.
But I mean, any team could get a bad pick, right? Tom Brady was a 6th round pick, and I think he was a one-off. He's the outlier, of course. But Jalen Hurts was what, a 2nd round pick or 3rd? I can't remember now. Yeah, he was a 2nd. I shouldn't have hedged. You know, so the pick doesn't necessarily dictate how you end up playing. Plenty of 1st round picks and first overall picks have not worked out. But
watching good teams still losing beginning of the season and knowing they're going to get better throughout is better. Being 2-0, you'll lose at some point. Like I said, the teams that are bad right now, who were supposed to be good, will probably turn it around. The teams that were supposed to be bad and are good right now, you have a track record or track history of going bad. So I'm not saying the Giants are going to go bad. Oh, Howard. I'm not loving DJ either, but I wasn't stoked by Phil Simmons in the early days either, but he grew into a champion. All right, I'm going to blow your mind because believe it or not, I was around for 79. Phil Simmons was one of the offensive rookies of the years. Phil Simmons actually played well early. It was injuries that caused this problem. When the Giants went to the playoffs in 81, before Scott Bruner came in, who was leading the Giants to the playoffs? It was, drumroll please, Phil Simmons. And then if you turn around and look at the 82 season, Simmons got injured again, blew out his knee. 83, he busted his hand on top of the Eagle helmet during the game. And then at 84, he came in and was the first Giant to throw for over 4,000 yards. Phil Simmons showed a progression before the injuries took its toll. See, look how nice that was that time. Talking, man.
Very nice. Look at you. Is that your one for the show? I think there that Howard's got away with one. I wouldn't try it a second time, but what are you going to say? Yeah, well, you were nice. I was giving you credit. It happens. Howard got your one nice comment for the show.
I like this Danny check down. I like the check down. Wide receivers don't like to play safe. Can we stop the David Sills experiment? Can we just stop it? It's David wrong way Sills.
I was going to ask you if you'd like to do a David Sills on anything you've ever said and run backwards with something.
I've never seen a player. I have seen players, bad ones, catch a first down like 3 yards past the marker, and then run backwards. I know what I'll do.
Quick question.
I'll get that first down, and then I'll lose yards.
Genuine question. Do you reckon he realized that the quarter changed and we were playing the?
I don't think he. Here's the thing. And I know Dable's talked about the fact that they're playing the guy, no matter what the contract, no matter what your draft status, no matter what this, blah, 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 blah. We're going to play the guys that we need to play. You're a first round pick for a reason. You're a $72 million wide receiver for a reason. You're a wide receiver who had 2 good years of production and 1 bad year of production because the quarterback played for a reason. You were on the practice squad for 3 years for a reason. Sooner or later, you have to start playing your better talent. Everyone's enamored with Richie James. Richie James has had just 50 yards a game the last 2 games. It's not like he was 6 catches for $120. 50 yards.
I think for what I expect of him, James is playing well, but he's not. Again, it's to Daniel Jones' point. He doesn't win you games.
He doesn't win you games. Good complimentary piece.
Yeah.
Doesn't win you games.
And you need players like that.
Right. Even the Lions are looking something with Goff. I got to give the Lions credit. They had the big win last week. They gave up all those points to Philadelphia and almost came back. It's like 38-35.
I liked the Lions last year. I said it to you. I said they might not be winning a lot, but I like what they're doing. I do. I mean, they're not going to win a lot this year, but I like their direction.
Make sure you hit the like button. Coach Dable. Dable coaches to win. He doesn't play to lose. I don't think anyone plays to lose, Zach. That makes me dumb. But no, I understand.
I get the sentiment behind that.
I get the sentiment behind it. Remember what I said after the first game of preseason? It's a different offense as last year, but just pretty much snap motion, and people would still think it's better than last year. You're right. Actually, you were, Mr. Alvarez. I do remember that. Jeffrey says, thank God for Barkley and our damn kicker. Without her, if we think about this, if Graham Gano misses any of those field goals, we lose.
And 2 of them were plus 50 yards, which is easily missable.
Right. Does anyone want to talk about that?
Well, I'd like to talk about that. I think Graham
Go ahead.
Gano has been consistently our best player for the last season and a bit now, if not longer. I think he's shown real nerves and real skill, and I think he's worth every penny we pay him right now. And I've always said
He deserves a raise.
Yeah, I've always said a good kicker is worth their weight in gold. They're almost an underrated asset. I think kickers, and he's proving it right now.
Seti says the big cat will be missed next week.
King of the almost sack.
I'm going to point this out, Seti. Numerous people have pointed out that the Giants defense actually seemed to play better when the big cat wasn't on the field. Now, if you look, they experimented with Leonard on the edge. That experiment failed miserably. And in the fourth quarter of the first game, he was moved back over the nose tackle. Now, in the Carolina game, he played mainly over the nose tackle. That's not his best position. He was getting pressure, and he was making, I wouldn't say a big impact, but he was making an impact because of the fact of Dexter Lawrence. Talk now, Dom.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence, we talked about this before, right? I mean, he was a big loss. I think we both, I mean, I know you weren't a fan of the Williams contract, but I think we both said at the time that actually you'd rather seen Dalvin back and what's his name, the right guard that I'm having yet another mind blank on.
Kevin Zeitler.
Yeah, Zeitler. You could have got them both for the same money.
Yeah.
As Williams. And I think that would have made us a much better team. I really, really do. And I got why the pressure was on Gettleman to go and pay Williams big, because he'd had that big season. But fine, let him go to the market and get your comp pick then, because he's an overpay.
G Giant says, good facts.
Not that we can change it.
He says, good facts on Phil Simms. You got to understand, we are slightly a Phil Simms house. Dom actually, the last live stream when he was here, wore my autographed full-size Phil Simms helmet on the stream. Just so you know.
Yep. Took me a while to get it on. This is a stat and a half.
That's what she said.
Based on his salary, Kenny G has made $8 billion on 22 catches of productivity this year. You're right. He has. He said he's not played, and he left early. He left. He vamoosed out of the locker room.
Do you think there's a chance he's gone next year?
No.
With this attitude he's got at the moment. I mean, he's a big old cut if you do, money-wise.
People keep talking about money next year and how the Giants have all this money. We got $55 million right now. And that's not counting or subtracting, I should say, the parts of the Leonard Williams $6 million.
Plus potentially having to re-sign Barkley.
Yep.
Plus having to bring in your drafts.
Yep.
Which will be what, 10, 12 million. So you take 10, 12 million off, suddenly you're down to 43.
I'm taking $16 million off the top.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we're in a much better place than we were this year. But we're not flush.
No.
I mean, I genuinely, and I don't want to wish
2024, we have like 200 million or some obscene number. No, we really do. We got some crazy number.
I can believe you. And look, I don't want to wish away the season, because I think the season is going to be fun. You know, even if we start losing games, at least we can see, like we said, we can see the character, we can see the effort, we can see the fact that players are giving everything they've got. And I mean everything they've got, and they're getting the results right now for everything they've got. But it's their ceiling for this team because it doesn't have the talent. But I do not see us going big in free agency this year. And I don't think we will, because we don't have the money, and I don't think we're ready to win. And you want to go big in free agency when you're ready to win, not when you're still building. And we are still building. And the way through to build this team remains through the draft, and it will just take a little bit longer.
Cam says, I'm always standing up nervous, yelling at the TV, telling Janet Jones to throw the ball. So my wife and I do the same thing. We always talk about how with Kevin Gilbride for years, we would run when it was like 3rd and 14. He would always run the draw. My wife and I would yell, "Don't run the draw! Don't!" He ran the draw.
I was in the local public.
Jones.
I was in the local public house this week, and literally someone turned to me every time Jones got the ball and went, "How's your bum feeling? Is it feeling a bit tight?" As he throws the ball for another time, like, yeah, it's never good until you see where that ball lands. You can't relax.
I have a good buddy, Irish Over says, O-line will have a rough day against Dallas Cowboys. Do we need to go 3-0 on Monday? I don't think it's a gimme game. The defense will need to show up, and DJ will need to step up. Here's the thing. Joshua Zuzu, whatever his name is. The Giants played better when they put Ben Bredesen in the game. The offensive line played better. They blocked better. So they need to play Bredesen. They have to. They have to, because the rotational experiment with Joshua needs to end. You need to just play the better player.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. He just needs a bit more time to develop, right? He's a
Right.
development pick. He's a development pick. You know,
He's a Matt from Connecticut.
Yeah, and look, we'll see where he is. And what was he? Where did we pick him? Azusa, was it second or his third round? Wasn't he pick?
No, Cordell. I think it was fifth. Cordell Flott was in third.
Yeah, didn't we have a couple of third round picks?
It doesn't matter. What's your point?
But anyway, but that's what my point is. He was a later round pick. If he was third, you probably want more. But he's a later round pick, and therefore you need to give him time. But you're right. And while you're winning at the moment, you want to try and keep winning, and therefore you play your better player.
I like this one. The most important position on the field, you need a franchise leading guy, not an average guy, to solid starter. Look at Tannehills and Bridgewaters of the world. I agree. Glee 357 says, "Are we getting Kayvon Thibodeau back this week?" I hope so.
I think we get.
I do, because you know what? It's and I laugh because Leonard Williams has the same injury, and they were saying, well, Leonard Williams could be back anytime. Well, it's been 4 weeks since Kayvon Thibodeau went out.
You have to assume they take the same strategy with Williams, because he's potentially a big part player in this defense. So why, are you going to risk him?
Thomas Neal locked down the outside. My fear is Parsons is in the defense is going to get through the interior. I've already said this a million times. If you want to attack the Giants, attack them directly in the middle. Go after the guards in the center, because that is going to be your weakest point. Feliciano reminded me of early Nick Gates with that holding penalty.
The center needs a big upgrade, doesn't it? It's a big. If you're going to bring in one new piece on the O line next year, it's got to be a better center. When was the last time we had a decent center? Honestly,
decent, like really good center or decent center?
I mean, right now I take good.
No, but what's the question? Decent center or great center?
A very good center between the two. I mean, right now I'll take a good center, but an above average center will do right now.
I was just saying.
Either way, you're struggling, right?
Well, I'm just trying to think, like a really good center, like because in my mind, you have Bart Oates, who was, if you're in the realm of my age, is probably one of the best centers the Giants had. And he came over from the Philadelphia Stars. Well, actually came over from the Baltimore Stars. They were the Philadelphia Stars. I mean, he was probably one of the, in modern day centers. He would be the guy. He would be the guy that I would put on the if you had the Mount Rushmore of like modern day Giants centers. And that was going back to the 80s. He was a fixture on the 2 Super Bowl teams too. So, I mean, but I'm trying to think, like I said, if you're talking really good center, I mean, we've had some guys, but I mean, I don't know.
Anything? Yeah, exactly. Well, there you go. Right, you can't think of anyone. The Giants encyclopedia.
Well, I can think of players, but I'm thinking of a guy that was like a standout.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Give me an above league average center. When was the last one?
Above league average.
But again, it's a struggle, right? I mean, it's not that we haven't had them. It's a struggle to think of them.
Well, that's like saying how many, and I already know the answers, but how many Giants quarterbacks have won league MVP awards? Can you think of one? We've talked about it multitudes of times.
I mean, I don't know how many exactly, but I don't imagine.
We've had
many.
two.
I was going to go one.
We've had two players win.
One was all I could think of.
We've had 2 players win. Those 2 players have won 4 league MVPs. But I don't know.
But you get my point, right? So it's a player position and a real big upgrade.
We got to pay. Broad Narrow says we got to
I mean,
pay.
I couldn't even remember who our bloody tight end was from last year. So don't ask me to think back tonight.
I'm not paying. I'm not paying Anthony Thomas yet. Sorry. Let's get through more than 2 games. Yeah. Joshua was indeed a 3rd round pick. Good job, Dom. Good job, Dom.
It's my one for the stream. I'll enjoy it while I last. Afghanistan baby's on point today, isn't it?
I know, Tim. What was your actual thoughts on the film? You were Mr. Lewis. You were the one that DM'd me too on the films. It's everything that I've said for 3 years. He doesn't see the field. Sean O'Hara. Came up with Sean O'Hara as another. I mean, Sean O'Hara was a good center. So I guess that's what Dom was talking about. Yeah, Sean O'Hara was a good center. I mean, the film doesn't lie, and I pointed this out numerous times that he doesn't scan the field. He doesn't see the field. If his first option's not there, what he does now is check down. And and honestly, I've seen a lot of people sending me stuff that if you look at Daniel Jones's passing chart, like where the balls are on the field, he can't throw to his right. And if you actually look at his passing chart in the plays, it actually shows that he can't throw to the right, which is a bad way to play football. Now, I always go back to Rick Meyer, who was a quarterback from Notre Dame. He played for the Seattle Seahawks. He was a 1st-round pick. He was an offensive rookie of the year his first season with the Seattle Seahawks. Then the league discovered that he couldn't go left. So, no, seriously.
No,
So
I've heard you tell the story before.
So what they did is they just stacked everything to the right. So I'm kind of wondering if that's kind of what's going to happen here or what's happened here. Bass. No, Bass wasn't he was a good, I mean, he was an okay center. Number 7. Yeah. Charlie Heim. He was a Pro Bowler. Also known as Malik Willis. Let's see here. What do we got here? Hey, Mark Stru, what's going on here? Let's see here. I sent you that last year too. Yeah, I'm getting videos all the time about people DM me stuff on Twitter and they email me stuff on Twitter, and I feel bad because I'm going to be honest, Tom.
You don't know how Twitter works.
I don't know how Twitter works, and the majority of the time, if it's like another content creator, I don't watch it. I don't, I just don't because they just annoy me. Well, this is a bad day.
And we know how you cope with when you're annoyed.
This is a bad day.
You are very zen.
I am very
calming influence.
I am very zen. And I've said I've said this a long time ago. I'm big enough to say whatever the hell I want. So
I said that to you actually. Yeah, when I met you, I was like, I knew you were big, but compared to me, you were massive. And I was like, I could not say some of the stuff you say because someone would knock me the hell out.
Yeah, yeah.
They could knock me from here to France if they wanted to.
But that's the thing. I that's why I can say whatever the hell I want. So I've learned that from a young age. When you're big, you can just do whatever the hell you want to do.
Except fit into small spaces.
Actually, that's true. You cannot, or a small car. Hey-o. I gotta admit, it's nice not having to go ass first into a car, because that's how I would have to get into the BMW. I had to go my butt first and then swing my legs around. And there's a nice car, though.
In fairness, when your ego gets big, you also have to go ass first.
That's why I took the top off the Jeep,
so you could fit in.
But the BMW was a nice car, right? You were in it.
Yeah, it was a nice car. Yeah,
it was a very nice car. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not.
There was nothing wrong with it.
There was nothing except the fact that I didn't fit in it.
I mean, in fairness, I also had issues with it because it was a long way up.
We could be honest. I didn't fit in the car.
Not overly comfortably.
You're that's why I love the British. They're just so polite. they're just so polite. Make sure you hit the like. But we're only at 25 likes. Wonder why? Because Dom's kind of in her mood today.
Yeah, I mean, I am in a bad mood. I'm just banning people. I'm
only banned one person. He got put in timeout. There is a difference. He did not get banned.
You say potato, I say potato.
Let's call the whole thing off. So what do you think about the Dallas game? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I think Dallas are not going to have as good a year as people a lot of people said they were going to. I think this is McCarthy's last year, but he's an experienced coach, and this is his last shot, so that he's got that on the line. They are missing a lot of players, but I think everyone's saying it's a give me 3-0 because there's no there's no left tackle. Their wide receivers aren't as good as they were last year, etc., etc.
There you go. Zach said you didn't kick Dom out yet.
Zach, he was asking me to vamp for him. I was vamping like a good one because I have no idea how long he's going to cough for. You had to say that.
What were you thinking, Zach Attack?
But it'll be a good game. And I think it's
so.
Level playing field. Level playing field.
That's true because all fields are level in the NFL.
Unlike over here where they are not necessarily level. Some are on hills.
What do you think? Now, you saw Cooper Rush play last week. Did you see Cooper Rush play at all last week?
I've not seen a lot of in fact, I haven't seen any of the Dallas game actually. Now I think on it.
He's like Daniel Jones. He had one really good drive, and then the offense kind of just went in the tank in the second half. The defense kind of won the game for him.
I was going to say, it's a game of defenses, right?
Do you have any concern? Now, Cooper Rush's other start before that, I believe, was against Minnesota. He threw for over 300 yards last year. Do you have any concerns about? I mean, like I said, I don't have many concerns about Cooper Rush's quarterback. I really don't. I don't. I'm more worried about Pollard and Elliott.
I was going to say it's a running game that I would be concerned about, right? You spoke about it earlier. You said if you want to attack the offense, you go through the middle.
You go through the middle.
Go through the middle, and if you get through the middle, I'd have concerns about our linebackers.
I'm going to talk about the linebackers because you bring up a good point. We also just re-signed Jalen Smith, the former Cowboy, the former Paco, the former Giant, and he's on the practice squad. I don't think he's going to play. I don't think there's enough time to get him to play this week because he hasn't done anything all season. You've
got to get him what we call match fit over here, right?
Yeah, he wasn't in training camp, any training camp whatsoever. But what does that say about Tay Crowder and Austin Calitro?
Well, what does it say about the decision to get rid of
like Martinez, he just visited the Baltimore Ravens today.
So be a nice landing zone for him if that's where he ends up.
They need him after that big loss last week. They can use some defense. But
the Dolphins played well, to be fair. But
let's just get back to the linebacking core. The venerable Pro Football Focus the week prior had Calitro and Tay Crowder all in the low 20s, and I don't know. I guess it goes to 100. Pro Football Focus. I don't know.
With them, it could be anything.
They didn't really show up much last week either, outside of a handful of plays. And like I said, a highlight is not a game. A highlight is what you get on SportsCenter. So the fact that we are retreading Jalen Smith, what do you think that is? What do you think is in the mindset of, because Jalen Smith is not what I would refer to as fleet of foot. Blake Martinez, for all of his warts, at times when he was in Green Bay, he was a good coverage linebacker. He and I've talked about this before. When Patrick Graham, that 1 year Patrick Graham, he was in the top 10 of coverage linebacker, middle linebackers. Then he dropped down to like 28th, and then he went up to like 14th. And the first season with the Giants, he was like 12th. So he's not a bad guy in coverage. But Jalen Smith is a plotter. And we've talked about this. He flows. He finds the water. He's part of the water that goes through the vines. And he finds the ball carrier. Who the hell's still going to cover the tight end?
The Magic Man. A hope. A wing and a prayer.
A wing and a prayer.
My first thought on Smith actually was, is this them trying to bring in experience, right? Because Jalen Smith isn't the player he was of 2019.
No.
Nor do you expect him to be. He's been the injuries, he's 3 years older, etc., etc. I think he's been brought in to provide some experience to an inexperienced group. And that, Kalicha's been around the league, 5 years or whatever it is, but he's not played that many games.
Right.
Tay Crowder is what Tay Crowder is. He's the guy that comes in to spot the player for a play or two here and there. And, that's perfectly fine. If he was, a backup linebacker, on the second string, yeah, that's perfectly fine. You need players like that. He's not a starting linebacker. So I think he's going to come in. I think he's going to play a lot of a reasonable number of snaps. But again,
I think so too. I think he'll come in the following week.
Yeah. but it goes to our point, right? That when you've got players like Smith starting, you've not got the best roster in the world.
I'm just laughing because I'm reading Twitter and someone on Twitter says, "Did you test positive?"
Oh, you know what? You know, I just tested positive for GAME.
That's how I tested positive. That's how I roll. No, I just have a really bad head cold. And I'll get gross for a second. I flushed out my sinuses before I came on, which was kind of stupid because now that I flushed it out, it's all got to go someplace. Not thinking that I was going to do a live stream.
Is it filling up in other places?
It's not fun. Bengals should have had it. They kept picking on Apple. You're always going to pick on. Yeah,
well, why would you not?
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Blake Martinez isn't a Ravens uniform. Ooh, like the sound of that if he does land. If he lands there, it's a good spot for him. But I just, and I've said this in the beginning of the year, I have no confidence in our middle linebackers. And as the season progresses and more teams get film on every one of our games, they are going to see the deficiency in the middle linebacking core because we still don't have a cover guy. Hilliard, who was hurt and didn't play yesterday, is still running away from Tay Crowder. That's how fast he was. And he's not. But Tay is not a cover guy. Austin Calitro gave up too many big plays in coverage. And I get concerned that we're going to run up against a team that has a really good tight end. And it's just going to be, it's just going to,
over the middle tight end. Repeat.
Yeah, that's what I would do because if you can't, and if we cannot cover Hilliard out of the backfield. So, I mean, we're
not playing the 49ers this year, are we? We don't have to worry about Kelsey, do we?
No, we don't. And he's hurt. But, I don't know. It just, I saw the signing and I was sitting there trying to think to myself, because that's what I say to myself when I talk to myself. I said, self, what is this? A guy who hasn't been in training camp, hasn't played since last season, gets signed to the practice squad for the Giants to play a position that is well in need of some type of talent. And if that was the case, why would you get rid of Blake Martinez?
Well, especially when you made no savings. And obviously I meant Chiefs for Kelsey. It was Kittle I meant for 49ers. But
you meant Kittle for the 49ers.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Who's hurt?
It's been a long day. But yeah, exactly. Why get rid of Blake Martinez? Because you're not making no savings. If you're saving 6, 7, 8 million and you don't have to renegotiate.
You actually lost money by getting rid of him.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying, if you're in that position,
right,
and therefore as a result, you didn't have to restructure Williams' contract, then you could maybe understand it. But when you're not saving anything and you're getting rid of your only genuine starting linebacker, that's a concern.
Right. Here's my thing. If the Giants lose to the Cowboys, do you think the fan base stays on track with everything being okay and it was just one moment in time, it was just one bad game? Or do you think they go the other way? And someone told me about this sound effect and I forgot about it, and I put it on my board because it's what I think of every time I think if we lose to the Cowboys.
You can do it! Oh no! We suck again!
I always think it's from the movie The Waterboy, and I always think that do you think they stay on the trail? Do you think they stay on the bandwagon? You think the energy will still be there in MetLife if they lose to the Cowboys? And you got the winnable game the following week against the Bears.
Yeah, I mean the Bears won week 1, in that horrific weather. But I think it's an interesting one. I'm still positive about the overall direction. I'm not expecting to win.
Wait,
if we lose the Cowboys,
wait, you're positive?
Oh, you know what? You know, I just tested positive for GAME.
Sorry.
That's all right.
That's
of course, you never want to lose to the Cowboys or the Eagles. You don't want to lose. Of course you don't. But look, we have to be realistic. And if you'd give me 2-1 right now at the start of the season,
I'd be happy.
I'd be delighted. I think someone in the chat just made a really good point, which I was just going to make. Is it depends how you lose, right? If you get blown out, then
that was the venerable Mike Lee.
Yeah, so Mike's absolutely spot on. It depends on how you lose, but I think the Central fans accept and appreciate where this team is at and what it's going to achieve over the season, I think there will be an overreaction one way or other from a significant percentage of the fan base, which will either be this is a disaster or it's one game, it's fine, we're still going to win and we'll still be 16-1. It's going to go one way or the other from a significant percentage, but the sensible ones will see it for what it is.
Todd Taylor says Pro Football Focus ratings are slightly more important than Madden ratings. Some people Madden ratings are good. Good question, Tim. Well, thank you, Jeffrey. That's what I'm here for. Depends on how bad we lose to the Cowgirls. That's the question you were looking at. Zach says, I think the fan base will turn on. I don't know if they're going to turn on the team. But to Mike Lee's point, it really does depend. And can we at least get to 40 likes? Because I'm sick. And I'm doing this. And I love when people, Dom will tell you, I don't take accolades well. I don't take praise well. People are like, we're like, oh my God, it's so, it's so wonderful that you're doing this and you're sick and you're manning up and doing this and doing this. That's because I'm stupid. That's why. But I do appreciate
it. In fairness, you are doing it and you are sick right now. So, kudos to you.
I don't like, shut up. I don't like kudos. You know that. I don't like praise. I don't like kudos. I don't like accolades. I don't like anything. I'm just a grumpy old man sitting here sick in front of a microphone, dying, talking to some guy in another country.
You can tell you're not feeling it because you got your hat on. Your hair's, which means
my hair's all messed up. Well, yeah. I had the hood off the Jeep. So, I had to put my hat on.
I forgot you did your Barbie doll.
Yeah, I had to put my hat on. I had to put my hat on one point. Someone asked me the other day, why do you do this every day? Why do you do a video every day? I don't want to talk about this real quick, but I'm going to talk about it real quick. I started doing
that while I take this jumper because I am boiling.
I do a video every day because of the fact that during COVID, I did a video every day just to kind of get people, just give people something to do. And it kind of turned out into that. And then I have certain people that are physically disabled that they'll watch the show and they send me emails and this stuff. And one person actually does rehab every day. And he goes, the highlight of my day is to, is when I do my rehab is to hear the 10, 15 minutes that you talk, about the Giants. And I've had a bunch of other people tell me that, that they start their day with me. And I got another guy that's got him and his 3 sons listen. So that's probably why I do it.
Gives you good motivation. It's not because you've got nothing better to do.
Right. And Dom always says it's because I'm a nice guy.
When did I say that?
You told me that. Yeah, you told me that once before. You act all gruff and tough, but you're really a nice guy.
I'm British, of course I'm nice. We're polite.
And I believe my phrase to you was "shut up." You told me that.
Yeah, was that the 4th or 5th time you threatened to throw me out the window?
Probably the 4th or 5th time I threatened to throw you out the window. Afghanistan baby says, hit the like button. What have we got? JR says, I think the coaching staff is giving Jones until Thanksgiving before they decide to bench him. If Jones continuously plays like this and the Giants keep winning, do you bench him? They're not winning. They're winning almost in spite of him. He's making 1 or 2 plays a game. But they're winning these close games. They're winning these 19-16 games. Do you bench him?
I mean, it depends on how Tyrod's performing in training. Is Tyrod looking good? Because if he's not, then you'd have to consider whether he's not. The other thing is, are you just looking to try and increase his value? For the comp pick that's coming when he's inevitably, released at the end of his contract. So I'm not sure you do if you're still winning. But I fear for him if we start losing consistently. And again, you look at it in that second half. Was it four straight incompletions? And that's a fairly regular occurrence with him, right?
Yeah, it is. Julian Love and Xavier Kinney are our best linebackers. At this point, Dane Belton is a close second. Dane Belton played a good game last week. I got to give Dane.
Yes, he did actually.
I got to give Dane Belton all the credit in the world. Julian Love had eight tackles, all solo. Xavier McKinney was all over the field. But the problem is, at some point in time, we are going to run up against a receiving core that we are going to have to cover the tight end. We're going to have to cover. I like playing the Eagles is a different story. If Gallup is playing on Monday, it's a different story. You can't put these guys in the box because of the fact that they are going to have to play left field. They're going to have to worry about the tight end. They're going to have to worry about, going over the top. They're going to have to worry about getting someone behind the secondary. That's just my opinion, Don. What do you think?
I mean, I've nothing to add. I think that's spot on.
It's because I'm a genius. Didn't you know that?
Yes, you are. You're an evil genius.
Wow. Oh my
Does
goodness.
that make me mini-me?
You are mini me.
I've got enough hair. We'll be all right.
I think when you were here, I also threatened once to put you in my pocket. So
I think you tried, didn't you?
I had to. Mr. Alvarez says, the Cowboys picked on Eli Apple. Good thing the Giants don't have bad corners that you can pick on. Cordell, you know what? And I got to give all the credit in the world to Wink. Have to give all the credit in the world to Wink. All of a sudden, the Panthers figured out Cordell Flott. Didn't take long. Took a quarter. All of a sudden, they figured him out. They burn him bad on a couple plays. DJ Moore takes him in for the touchdown, and he's off. Cordell Flott's off to Fabian Monroe is all of a sudden in the game. So you got,
of course, it is an elite corner.
Yeah, okay. But you got to give
I tried to say it with a straight face.
I know you did. It made you miss Isaac Yiadom. But you got to give him credit. Wink. I miss Isaac Yiadom.
I know. That's the irony.
You have to give Wink credit for immediately pulling him off. You did not see him after that. I mean, he got burned like he got burned bad.
He got burned by the Home Depot.
I mean, he was like, but I got to give him credit. I really do.
There's accountability all of a sudden, right?
There was a video I saw.
Yeah, there was indeed. I can't think who it was. I thought I'd give you the chance to talk about this excellent video.
I don't know. I don't remember what I said.
No, I don't remember what you said either. I'd forgotten you did it until I said it. But it's the same like Daniel Jones again, second week running, got an absolute rollicking.
Yeah.
On the sidelines, publicly, for everyone to see.
He did, the second week in a row.
And in fairness to Jones, again, he showed some character, to be fair to him. But, you know, again, there is that accountability. You're not playing because you're the big name. You know, I think there are other reasons for it, but Golladay missed out. Tony missed out.
Here's the thing about him showing character. I'm going to talk about this for a second. I've heard this, that he showed character. And he sat there and took his chewing out 2 weeks in a row. Phil Sims.
He's just doing his job.
Phil Sims was the whipping boy of Bill Parcells for years. And it came to a point that Phil Sims, after, you know, being scolded in public by Parcells, legendary head coach, 2-time Super Bowl winner, he actually fought back and started yelling back. And there's great footage on NFL films of those two fighting each other on the sidelines. And I'm going to tell you why I love Phil Sims. Because of the fact that after a period of time, and it was only like 1 or 2 times Parcells yelled at him, Phil Sims didn't take any shit anymore. And he was man enough to stand up from what he did. And this is why I also am not a big fan of Daniel Jones, because Daniel Jones gets yelled at and he puts his tail between his legs. Phil Sims fought back against a 2-time Super Bowl winning head coach. Sometimes you got to have a little fight.
Yeah, I think there's different ways of showing fight, to be fair. And I think it's going out and proving wrong. And I'm not saying that Jones did that, but he did go out there and he didn't go into a shell, which is what we would have expected him to do, given the way the franchise has treated him with kid gloves in the last few years.
But I will tell you this. I think he did go into a shell. I think that's why he's checking down so much.
Oh, I think he's
because
checking
he
down
does not want to make the mistake.
I think there is an element of that, and look, and again, you've heard where I'm at on Jones, right? You know, it's a similar place to you, but I also think there is an element. I think that's exactly right, and I think that's why we also playing the way we're playing, because we don't want to put Jones in a situation where he makes a mistake, because it will happen regularly if we do. But Jones being the character that it would appear he was on the outside, given the way we've protected him publicly over the years with Judge, etc., and Mara, etc. You would expect him to be the quiet little boy that just goes and thinks about the mistake and throws it, and he hasn't. Now, he's got lucky sometimes as to why he hasn't thrown it, but I would have expected
sometimes. There
yeah,
should have been at least 3 interceptions in that last game.
Quite, exactly. I mean, I would have gone 2, but fine. But actually, he has at least still gone out there and try to do his job. The problem is he's not capable of playing better than he's playing now. This is his
This
level.
is the ceiling. The ceiling for him is the floor. Beating Dallas, Big Blue says one away. Beating Dallas would be a meaningful win. And let's be competitive. Dallas would be our first real taste of a top tier defense. I don't know if they're a top tier defense, but I do think they're a higher
They're a
ranked
step up defense.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with that. If we show up and show out and then win, we can start talking like you said, Tim. Yeah, I agree. Let's win some games.
I mean, ultimately, you can only beat the team that's put in front of you.
And that's what I was saying.
Regardless of who you beat.
You can only beat the teams that are on your schedule. That's it. Mike Lee says, depends on where they're in the standings. If you're a game or two out, yes. More than no. Yeah, that's about Dan Jones. No, Dom isn't mini-me. You could be mini-me. You could be. Manuel Reese says, yo, 42 likes. Let's get to 50. Let's get to Dom talk a minute. Oh, my God. I'm dying here today.
Oh, I might just sit in silence and just watch Tim choke. That might be fun. Look at him with his little Bengals chair, coughing away.
Shut up.
I was waiting for the shut up while you're on mute.
Nobody likes you. Nobody likes you. At least I put it on mute.
Yeah, that's true. That is true because I imagine it's not a pretty sound.
It's not a pretty sound. Tim is collecting bus money to bring back guys. I'm actually the $1.98 we raised for Isaac Gedden to leave. I'm actually trying to entice him, but he's with the Texans. I'm trying to entice him to come back.
Speaking of corners, actually, what do you make of Jackson so far this year?
He's played well.
I think he's played well.
He's played well. But in all fairness, he's played well. But outside of DJ Moore, who has he gone up against? And for some unknown reason, they were able to put DJ Moore on Cordell Flott. So let's see what happens when you get to if Gallup plays. Let's see what happens if you get CeeDee Lamb in there. I like what's his name Schultz, the tight end. You also got Pollard and both Elliott out of the backfield. So we just we have to wait and see. Listen, Manuel says
let's not totally underestimate the Panthers wide receiving core, but you're right. He needs a bit like the defense, right? He needs to. They
need a real test, like a real test.
I still think he's a CB2, but I think he's done a decent job so far.
And the other problem is Blake Martinez sucks as much as not Blake Martinez. Baker Mayfield sucked as much as Daniel Jones. I like Baker Mayfield, but he put up a stinker.
He did not play well.
He did not play well.
Emmanuel Jimenez were all over him.
I forgot to wear my Shane Jimenez jersey. I forgot.
I was waiting. Yeah, that's all right. Jimenez was hunting him down like a pack of wolves. Wasn't he really at times? I've not seen Jimenez play so well. That said, one swallow doesn't make a summer with him.
Exactly. Manuel says, seeing through the focal point of the offense of Saquon, do you see the Giants re-signing him? If the Giants are not in playoff contention by the trade deadline, he's gone. If they're in some type of playoff race, he's still here.
I think that's a fair summary.
So, hit the like button, says James. James, how was the game?
And how was your birthday?
How was your birthday? Hit Tim and Don Juan. Hit the room. What's up? Let's see here. Man says, did you see the near future DJ getting benched? Like I said, it depends. If we're winning and he's still putting up 176 yards, 166 yards, and we're winning, do you want to take away the continuity to go with Tyrod Taylor? But if he's starting to be more of a hindrance to the offense and your defense is still playing this well, then you got to move on.
I mean, I'm still gonna, even though we're 2-0, which I did not expect, I'm still thinking it's around Halloween that he gives away to Tyrod.
Yeah, I think so. Jeffrey says, super conservative ball. It's okay, but tough quarterbacks coming up. We do. Dale Parker says, what do you say? Do you honestly think if we win the division and win a playoff game at home and they're not bringing Jones back? Because I think I could go out and throw for 125 yards. At 50 plus years old, I think I could throw for 125.
If we get that far, it's not because of Jones.
It's not because of Jones.
And not unless he starts suddenly doubling his distance, right? And I've said it before. They are saying nice things about Jones, but watch their actions. That's what tells you. They've not picked up his 5th-year option. You can talk about that being a safe decision because you can tag him for a year or what have you. But He's not been consistent for years, and he doesn't.
Wait. What you said something very intelligent.
Wow, really? When was that?
Which is shocking. People talk about tagging Jones. Do you know what the tag number is for a quarterback?
Huge.
But you know what it is?
I mean, not off the top of my head, but I'd around 35,
Luckily, I do.
36, 36?
32 million.
Oh, I wasn't far off.
So you have $55 million in cap space.
You're not doing it.
You have Daniel Jones at 32 million.
And you're not.
Which one of these doesn't belong?
But I'm saying they have that option, but they're not gonna pull it. They're not. And he doesn't fit. I just don't think he's a scheme fit for what the Dable and Kafka want to run.
James says you can't sign a quarterback for $100 million that can't throw for 200 yards consistently. He can't even throw for 200 yards
once
consistently.
We've not done it once this year, and I know it's only 2 games, but not once. We've won 2 games and still not throwing 200 yards.
I think Jalen Hurts has already thrown for over 700 yards.
Has Tua thrown more yards?
Tua has thrown more yards in one game than Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I was going to say he must have. You've got a super chat, by the way.
What's that?
You got a super chat, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you for the super chat. That's Mr. Lewis. All super chats go to Philadelphia Children's Hospital. Let's not sleep on the Cowboys because I'm seeing a lot of Giant fans thinking, cockily thinking we're going to kill them because without Dak, without Cooper Rush, can really play. Remember, remain humble. Great point. And I've said this before. You got to worry about Cooper Rush. And they still have talent on the offense. They still have, and it's a home game for the Giants, which is great. But and we also have to remember does Dable break the primetime jinx for the Giants that we've been through the last 4 or 5 years? Does he break the primetime jinx? There's a lot that's good about the Giants going into this game. But you still have Diggs on the defense. You still have Parsons. You still have a bunch of other players. And I think he's right. I think Mr. Lewis is right. This is not a pushing game.
It's easier with their injuries they've got, but that doesn't make it a gimme.
And the problem is when you get cocky, when you get that sense of arrogance and the talent's not there to back it up, it usually doesn't end well. But I don't think the Giants are cocky because I think the Giants say all the right things. They really do.
We'll go back to Leo's comment after the first game, right?
It's one game.
And I imagine that's the message again. It's 2 games. We won. Brilliant. Well done.
You got Dable's comment. You got Barkley's comment. It's one game. And it's not like we blew teams out these last 2 games.
Do you see anyone coming into the building today, tomorrow, that's really cocky, not getting an absolute earful from Dable or Wink?
No, I don't think we have those type of players on this roster.
And I think if we do, it will quickly be out of them.
Yeah, they'll find themselves the Blake Martinez route.
Here's looking at you, Tony. Oh, he's coughing his guts up, bless him. He's doing super well. Hit the like button. Give him a like. He deserves it.
Hit the like button, guys. I'm like slowly dying here. I am slowly dying here.
At least we're not going to the realms of hyperbole.
I'm trying to be like Billy Bob.
Let's roll!
I'm trying to be like Billy Bob here, and I'm trying to roll, but it's just, hey, Matthew's in the chat. I truly believe Gettleman guys are slowly going away. Are there guys Shane and Dable want for sure? You gonna answer that, Dom?
If you like. I think
answer Dom Vamp for a second. I got someone at the door.
No worries.
Vamp.
Oh dear me! With his lungs, it could be 20 minutes before he gets up them stairs. I think Matthew. I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of the Gettleman guys will be shown the door. They're not Shane picks, but I do think that Dable will give an opportunity to the Gettleman picks that show they can play in his system, that show their work hard for the team. And I think some of them have got talent that were Gettleman picks. You look at McKinney, you look at Thomas. I think these guys will be here. It's the ones that don't fit and don't make the effort that you've got to be concerned about if you are them. And you're looking at the Kenny G's at 72 million. And forget the 72 million. It's the lack of effort, the lack of anything really from him. He and you can say he's not targeted, and maybe that's fair. But you look at and you're concerned and go that you look at Tony and again, you would possibly question his attitude. I happened to buy the rumors around the summer that we were looking to shop him, and I would suggest that was an attitude thing. He's not around, and it's those guys you would suggest that Shane will move away from, and you can possibly see some of those picks that we made over summer, particularly Tony and Wandale Robinson. There's your replacement. So I think that's an absolutely fair comment, but some of them may well play themselves onto staying. Tim is not back, so I'm going to have a go at finding out where we are on the chat, but I cannot find where that comment was, and I can't search like Tim can. So I'm going to go to the bottom. So James has said, James, how I haven't seen in the chat. Hopefully we can have you on shortly, unless you're at work. But how does James Williams says, how does a walk-on free agent in Richie James have more catches and yards than our 70? Exactly, James. He was our big free agent pick, and how does Richie James have more? Richie James, I said it earlier, is playing above the level I would have expected from him, but he doesn't win you games, but yet he's getting himself into spaces where we're finding him.
All right, we had 67 when I left.
Yeah, we're probably down to 47.
We're down to
I'm amazed.
53.
I'm amazed. I'm absolutely staggered. You managed to make it up the stairs and back in about 2-3 minutes. I vamped as best I could, but I couldn't find where we were in the chat.
You did a good job. Let's see here. Jeffrey Howie says Mara is stubborn. He's best to be ready for a new quarterback. We're going to have a new quarterback next year.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not giving $32 million to Daniel Jones.
No,
we're not. We've said this before. There's only one way you would do it.
Gentlemen, what brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
Unless you're smoking crack, you ain't getting it.
I mean, it is the option for them, but I don't see him pulling it.
Are we wearing our cool? I believe we are. I believe this is the first game we're wearing our retro Cool Rush jerseys. I think this is the first game against the Cowboys that we're wearing the old jerseys.
I like those old jerseys.
Jalen. Bad Dog says from James is going to have to walk back his Jalen Hurts trash theory. I like Jalen Hurts. Hey, Captain Matumbo. What's up, Admiral? I promoted him. I'm sorry. Something wrong with me.
Captain of the fleet.
He is captain of the fleet. James says, how do you walk off free agent Richie James has more catches and yards than $70 million man, our second pick from last year and our second round pick from this year? Well, Wandale's hurt. So that's easy. But yeah, when Richie, I mean, again, this is not sustainable. Richie James and David Sills as your starting wide receivers is not sustainable. And what does this say about Kadarius Toney? That we are now into a second regime that seems to not have a trust factor. And he does not look like the same player that he was because of the fact that, shockingly, watch this, the league got film. And they figured out what to do. And they figured out they probably watched Online Big Blue.
In fairness, do you think if we gave some film to Tony, he might be able to find the field at all and go, this is where the field is. Look, this big green thing in the middle.
No.
These things here are cleats, and you need to wear them when you're on the field.
I like Brooklyn Kings here. Richie is clutch. Okay. Most of Richie James's yards that first game came on 3rd and a mile. And they didn't get the first down. Jerry Rice is clutch. Jonathan Taylor was clutch. Mark Clayton was clutch. I could go on and on. Richie James, been in the league for 5 years, is not clutch.
He's played well.
He's played well,
but he's not elite, right? He's not winning.
He's not elite.
He's not winning you games.
No, that's the thing. Thank you. He is not winning you games. We don't see many teams game planning and said, you know what? We got a game plan for this James guy. We got a game plan for Richie because he's gonna burn us.
The secondary is having sleepless nights over Richie James.
Oh my God. He's got 100 yards in 2 games, which is 50 yards a game. That's clutch.
I mean, but for where he is on the depth chart, that's a fairly decent return.
He's a
for him.
starter.
And don't get no, sorry, he is a starter because of the injuries. But what I mean is, you're not expecting him like he's wide receiver 6, 7. You know, he's playing to his max. But that's when 50 yards is your max, it's a problem.
Yes, when 50 yards is your max, there is a problem. Where do you think in the top, wide receivers, where do you think Richie James ranks in reference to productivity?
What, this season?
This season.
93.
I don't know because I don't have a thing.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad we played this game.
He's ranked 52nd in starting wide receivers in reference to productivity. He is ranked 52nd.
No, that's right. I mean, it's not. I mean, for his talent level, that's fairly decent. But
right.
he's gonna move backwards quick.
But you just said it perfectly, for his talent level.
Yeah, he's gonna move down that chart quick.
And I love it because people are probably thinking today, I'm doing caesurs with these dramatic pauses, but
no, it's because you can't breathe.
It's because I can't breathe. So I'm taking more of a deliberate tone.
There's a couple of times where I thought you were about to have a choking fit, so I went to say something when I wasn't necessarily going to, because I genuinely thought you were about to have a coughing fit.
What does Avery say? Our wide receiver situation is amazing, considering it all starts with getting rid of OBJ. Someone has to be married to kicking net to break the curse. I loved it all. Someone on, Twitter. Oh, dear Lord, Twitter. Someone posted on Twitter. It was supposed to be from like a giant page, like a giant news page. Said that the Giants and OBJ are in negotiations to signing a contract.
Really? I'm not sure. He's not going to be
this is what they said. That he's in negotiations with the Giants. He tore his ACL in February.
I was going to say December would be best case for him, surely.
Best case would probably be December. And then do you really want to roll him out for 2 games in the season?
I mean, unless you're really in a fight with the Eagles, which I don't expect to be, then no. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love OBJ, but the OBJ that comes back is not the OBJ that left.
No. Thoughts on Jalen Hurts? I thought he played well. The best quarterback in the division. He's the best quarterback. He is the best quarterback in the division by a mile.
Better than Dak?
Dak's not playing right now.
Well, Dak didn't play a lot last season either, did he? Yeah.
If you're going by the quarterbacks in the division right now,
season before.
He's miles ahead. You know what the thing about Jalen Hurts I like about is his guys rally around him. I have to watch Eagle games and Pittsburgh Steelers games because I'm in Pennsylvania. But his guys rally. They pick him up. He does something bad. He does something stupid. His team is there for him. And you get that when you are a leader.
I think he is a leader. He's got something about him, right?
Sometimes about players. When I played, not the most talented whatsoever. But people liked playing alongside me because of the fact that they always knew I had their back, and they always said I gave it everything I got. I played hurt, no matter what. I was there, and I would always be there for them, and it made people not play better, but it allowed you just people were always looked up to me because they were like, you know what, Tim's always out here no matter what. And sometimes people just look, no matter if I make a mistake, if I do something wrong, I look up, people are like, we want to play with him. And I had a lot of players tell me that over the years that we liked playing with you because of the fact that we knew you would give the effort, and it made us want to give just the same amount. Because I've told the story about playing a game with a dislocated shoulder. And my arm was like this at one point in time. And back in the 90s or late 80s, early 90s, it was just like rub some dirt on it and get back in. You're fine. But sometimes that's all it takes. And Jalen has that aura. He has that around him. And like I said, I have to deal with a lot of Philadelphia people. Everyone in my neighborhood is Philadelphia people. And I just wish in some ways that Daniel Jones, I don't know how, would develop that aura.
I think
I don't know if he can.
I think, you know, you can grow into leadership maybe, but I think some people just have natural leadership, and I think Jalen Hurts has that. And my old boss said something once to me. I came and I was only supposed to be there 3 weeks covering, and at the end of the first day, he said, "Do you want to stay here permanently?" I said, "Yeah, sure." Why? And he was like, "Because people will work for you. People like you already, and you can see that." And he said, "And once you've got that, you're halfway there." He
Right.
said, "In fact, you're 3/4 of the way there."
Right.
And Jalen Hurts has that, and I think he has an ability to carry a team on his back. I don't think he's the best quarterback in the league. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback in the league. You can
I think
argue
he's
he's a
top
bottom
15.
half. I was going to say you could make an argument for him being just outside the top half, but that's in and around where he is around the 15 mark. But he can put a team on his back and he can carry them if he needs to, and that is what sets him apart from Daniel Jones. I mean, apart from, you know, talent and many other things, but it's a key difference.
Talent. You know what I Tim, aka Rudy. You know what I like about this comment, because I've told this story before. Vince Papale, Philadelphia Eagle legend, is a greeter in the club area, in the club seats in Lincoln Financial Field. He's a greeter, and everyone knows Vince Papale. He had the movie Invincible. Mark Wahlberg played him in the movie. Nice guy, really nice guy. Eagles legend. He hates me because I used to go. I used to go to a lot of Eagle games with friends, and they all have club seats. So every time that I would see him, I would call him Rudy. And then after like the second or third time in a row that we've done that I did that, it's sometimes third game in a row, we went back another day. He saw me. Now, the Vince Papale is evidently a very nice guy. He saw me, and I didn't get more than, I would say, 15 feet within front of him. He does this. I should do this. He does this.
I was going to say, might want to show us your hands.
And I looked at it. You going this? I was like, what? He goes, don't you even think about calling me. So the nice guy that I am, nice guy that I am. No, I didn't call him Rudy. I'm a nice guy. I called him Sean Astin, who is the actor that played Rudy.
He also paid my friend in the Hobbit movies that you love so much.
Bilbo Baggins.
He paid Samwise.
I don't know who that is.
Don't worry, he's my friend in the movie. Don't worry.
I didn't know Vince's son was in the USFL. I didn't know that. Oh, you know what's funny? The punt returner for Dallas that we saw return that kick when you were here.
Yeah.
He was what's his name? I can't remember his name, but he was in USFL.
Yeah.
But Kareem says DJ looks the part of an all-star. What, playing baseball?
Yeah, by part he means if you get your magnifying glass, your telescope, and you zoom it in really, really, really far, you can see a bit of it.
Titans were a worse team than we thought.
Give him time. It's only
no, he's not wrong, because I said about I picked the Giants to beat the Titans 21-17. Titans don't have an offensive line.
No.
You have Robert Woods and a rookie as your starting wide receivers. Everyone knows you just put 8-9 in the box. Hell, Malik played yesterday. Didn't play well, but he played. And there's already talk in Tennessee about starting Malik next week.
Well, it gives them something different, right? I mean, but I don't think that the Titans are. I mean, they're probably a 2-0 team. They're not playing well, but I also don't think they're going to go through the season playing this badly. I think they will slightly improve. I don't see them going over 500, which maybe it makes us a fair point that we thought maybe 10-7, right. 11-6. But I don't think they're as bad as these 2 weeks suggest. But time will tell.
Kayvon Turbin. That's the kid's name, the wide receiver. I actually wanted the Giants to sign him. He played for the New Jersey Generals of the USFL. Captain Matumbo would like. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah. Admiral Matumbo would like an update on Leonard Williams and Azeez Ojulari. You want to hear something really funny?
I mean, it would make a change for us, but go for it.
Here's something really funny. I actually know somebody who was an admiral.
Nice.
Dude, seriously, I didn't think about it till the other day because I don't want to talk about it, but he was an admiral for one of the aircraft carriers. And I laugh because I always kind of bust his chops and kind of do things. And I never thought to myself, because I've known him for years. I've known him for 30 years. I never thought to myself, dude, you're like the fucking admiral of a ship. like a real admiral.
I mean, that is fairly impressive. I obviously have to plead the fifth about the clientele that visits the club.
Yes,
so
of
I
course.
can't comment on whether I am familiar.
But I always thought it was weird.
That's genuinely impressive.
I was talking to him the other day, and I'm like, you are an admiral and used to be a captain of I can't remember the name of the aircraft carrier. And I used to laugh because I would be like, and I would tell this, you would think of the stories over the last 30 years. And you're like, you're in charge of $1 billion war machine. And I watched you fall off a porch. That's all I could ever think of. I once watched you back your car up into my garage.
As long as he doesn't fall off the flight deck, we'll be all right.
That's what I was thinking the other day. I'm like, oh my God, man, you're like in charge of this $1 billion war machine. And I remember when you fell off he was sitting on the rail of the porch. We're all drinking and having a good time. And I'm talking to him. And I turn around to say something to someone and he's gone. And I'm like, there was no way he could have walked past me. And then all I hear is somebody laughing like that. I walk over the porch and he's just laying back there and he still had his beer in his hand.
No, he saved the beer. That's the important thing.
That's what I told.
It reminds me of a story of my mate, actually. He came home from the pub and he'd been out with his brothers and his dad had been out separately. Next morning, dad gets them all out of bed, all three of them, lines them up outside, goes, which one of you lot did that to my rose? They're completely squashed. And he's got them out there for like 20, 30 minutes. When my mum comes out and goes, what the hell are you doing? He's like, I want to know which one of these three did that to my prize roses. And she just went, you did last night when you came home drunk. Yes.
I laugh, and I'm going to tell one quick story, and we got to get back to the Giants.
Yeah, we probably should answer this question.
I'm going to answer this question, but I got to tell this story because it reminds me. Because we had a big. My parents' house had this huge deck, and
a poop deck or just normal.
And they're like humongous deck, and I loved it because I always had friends over, especially in high school. I drank a lot. I know it's shocking.
Shocked me.
Shocking. And then one day,
the genuine shock was you had friends, but let's carry on.
And my parents always went. My dad traveled a lot for work, and I told you he would spend like 2 months in London. He would spend 2 months in DC. So they were always gone. So one summer they all left. House was mine. I mean, nobody was no siblings, no parents, nothing. So I had a huge party. Had like 300 of my closest friends over. And I knew my parents were coming back 2 days later. So I cleaned everything up. And I mean, it was immaculate. You could not tell that we had a party at this house. You could
eat off the floor.
There was no way you could tell. And I bribed the neighbor down the street because we had cars parked up and down the street. So I bribed the neighbor down the street who was kind of like a tattletale. My dad is home for, God rest his soul, maybe 15 minutes. And he goes like this to me. And I would go outside to the deck and he goes, you want to tell me about this big party? So I'm trying to play stupid because I know he hasn't talked to anyone because he just got into the house. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm looking around like there's nothing. No signs, nothing. He goes, you sure? I go, yeah. He takes his finger and points down. And I'm looking. And all of a sudden I see in between the slot, there's like a little hole where the wood is, where you put the wood, all these beer caps. And there's like hundreds of beer caps between the wood on the deck. And he goes to me, do you want to rephrase your statement? I was like, oh shit. So he made me sit there with a hammer and screwdriver. And then I had to tap him to fall underneath the deck. And then he made me go under the deck and clean them all up.
Nice. You always get found out.
That's for you, Dad. Leonard Williams has got a sprained MCL, so he is out. We don't have an update on Aziz Ojulari. What's that?
I think he's officially day-to-day, but you've got to assume he's out.
It took 4 weeks for a sprained MCL, so he is out.
Yeah. As I'm saying, I think is he officially listed as day-to-day? But I mean, you've got, like you say, he's almost certainly out.
He's out. I'm
He's
just.
gonna be out.
All that big. Oh, we got a big 2-2 super chat. Massive salute to Tim and Dom. Drop by to pay the proper respects for all the Giant fans around the world. Slapping the stinky boy losers out the door. Forget about it. Thanks a lot. You know David Robinson? Oh, I actually thought you knew. I know someone named David Robinson. That's what kind of put me down for a second. I'm like, I know someone named David Robinson. David Robinson was a running back. So I actually know somebody named David Robinson. What does Stanley have to say? My only issue with this weekend's Dallas is that if we get hot and 2 scores and we're in like 14-yard hole, there's a reason we need to be able to pass the ball. You're right. There is a reason that you need to be able to move the ball via the air. He's right. He's not wrong, Dom.
Can Graham Gano chip it for 10 yards for us and see if we can get first downs that way? Because he's mighty accurate.
I am curious. Can Graham Gano throw? We know how well. Can we get up to 55 likes before I leave?
How long have we got to stay for?
I don't know. Shut up. What do you got to do? Go to bed. Steven wants to know, what about Kenny G? Kenny G, you know what? There's rumors that the Dable is going to unleash the Kraken.
Oh, I love that phrase.
That he's going to allow Kenny G to play 7 snaps against Dallas instead of only 2.
What would you do, Kenny G, right now if you were Dable? Apart from smack his ass.
Honestly?
Yeah, honestly.
I would play him. I would truck his ass out on the field. And for the first 9 or 10 plays, I would send him on a fly route. Even if you're running the ball, I would send him on a fly route and tell him you need to run at least 45 yards down the field every play for the next 7 plays. And we're not going to throw it to you. I just want to see you run.
Just like to see him do something.
Right, exactly. That's where I was going. I want to see you do something. But you got to throw him out there.
It's not a bad. I mean, you got to throw him out. You're paying him all that money. You got to, But actually, I don't think that's a bad strategy actually, because you tell him to go and do that. You tell him to go and do something. Go. You want the ball? Go and do that. Then we might look
do something.
Then we might look at throwing you the ball.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
That's not a bad way of handling it.
I would just let you know, because I'm paying you $72 million. You have to do something. You're right.
And hey, if you want a payday when you get out of here, you're going to have to start doing something.
And if you piss me off, you're going to play tight end.
Can he punt return?
No.
I was joking. Although
right
that
now,
would be a nice.
Right now he can't catch.
Put him on special teams. Go, all right, you're going out on special
Actually,
teams.
you know what? I thought about that too. That's another thing I would have done. I would have. They don't have you don't really have a wedge anymore, but you used to have a guy who used to bust a wedge. And if you were back in the day, I would have him be the guy that busts the wedge buster.
It's
the most dangerous part of the field.
But it also sends a message to everyone that it doesn't matter what you get paid. If you're not performing, you go out on special teams or you go and do the non-glamorous work. No one automatically gets it. It does send a message.
It does. I got you with the like, Tim, at Online Big Play. I appreciate that. I really do. I'm going to give you a 2 for 2. Who do we line up to chip block Parsons on Monday night? I think they're going to put Parsons everywhere on the field. The problem is, actually, you know what I find interesting? On some of the throws that Saquon Barkley, some of the throws that Daniel Jones did not make, Saquon Barkley actually had some good blocks. Some of Daniel Jones's checkdowns. He actually did have some good blocks, Saquon Barkley. I was kind of surprised about that.
I wasn't overly looking at them, to be fair, but I'll have a look back and see that, because that would be interesting, because it's been obviously something he's not exactly.
That's why I'm a professional, Dom.
You are a professional.
You could tell by my office. I've modeled it. I modeled it to make it look just like the Giants trophy room.
It looks remarkably similar.
Well, I've modeled it that way.
Yeah, it was definitely no curtain, just to the side.
Shut up. Parsons over or under 2 sacks?
I think Dallas will get lots of sacks. I'm going to take the over on this one. How about you?
I'm going 3.5. James says we might have to replace Wan'Dale with Dom. I know the little dude couldn't take a hit, shake my head, 1 tackle, and he's out for 2 games.
Me or Wan'Dale?
Both. Both.
I mean, Tim called it. Tim, you called it on draft night. Was it James that told you that that's what he called it?
A couple. You know what's funny? I said on draft night, I don't remember saying it, but James told it to me, and a few other people said that I said, which I believe them. I also went back and listened. That sometimes I want to see how smart I am. That I said if Wan'Dale does not learn how to protect himself on the field, he won't survive his first NFL game.
So you jinxed him. Is that what you say?
I was about to say I jinxed him. Come on, let's get 4 likes so I can leave and go lay down.
I like this one. Can Kenny play center?
Why not? Admiral Mutombo says Evan Ingram's been balling for Jacksonville. I mean, he only has 1 drop so far. Hey, oh my goodness gracious!
Big win for them this week, by the way.
I got to get to Luke's comment. I got a reasoning behind putting the best players on the field, but this is an evaluation here. Kenny, Tony, Slayton all need to be on the team for the same reason, DJ. Great point. These guys all need to be on the field. You know, in 2023, you are not going with Richie James and David Wrongway Sills. And I'm going to tell you right this now. Hold on. Dom talk.
You're spot on, by the way. There's nothing else I can say about this. You know, and also, like, see what you've got. You know, can you get something out of them? Those that need to be here next year, and the only way to find out is to put them on the field this year. If you're not putting them on the field, you ain't winning. You're not going to keep winning. You're just not. And you know, maybe someone will come in and trade for him. He's got that bad. You put the Elvis glasses on. Jesus Christ!
I had to put the Elvis glasses on, baby, because these lights are getting bright in here, baby. There is a David Sills sound effect coming up. I don't want to say anything.
The Wrong Way Ranger, you mean?
Damn, I'm a good-looking redneck. Oh my god, I love this. I had to get to this one. Time to unveil the wishbone. Just kidding, sort of. No, I'm not. I talked about the wish. Dom, how much did I talk about the wishbone? How much did I talk about the wishbone and running the spread offense?
Loads and loads and loads and loads.
I'm always talking about the wishbone.
I'm Johnny Wishbone, psychic extraordinaire. If you need me, just think Johnny Wishbone, and I come running.
I think that's the last comment. Now, let's get this last one here. The honor for Saquon. Good evening, Tim. All Saquon. Potential for Ojulari and Thibodeau to line up for the first time. I think it's pretty high.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's fair. We got Derek Ramirez. What's up, Derek? Question: if we lost both our games last year and we didn't play our perceived talent like Tony Galladay Slayton, we would be accused of tanking. No, you're right. Actually, we would.
No, we would be, yeah.
We would be accused of tanking. Very smart.
I almost thought we were looking to do it when we started talking about the roster. I was like, are we looking to tank before we even play a snap?
We're at 60 likes. I have to go drive my big rig.
You look like you had to go lie down. I'm not convinced you're making it up the stairs.
I'm good. I want to appreciate everyone hanging as long as they did. Normally, I do the extra to get us out of here.
Oh, please don't.
But you know what I'm gonna? You know who's gonna do it today? Are you ready? You got to do it.
Do you want me to do it hello or goodbye?
You got to do the intro.
Ready?
Are you ready?
No, but let's give it a go.
We're going for it. Go for it. Thanks everyone for watching. The Dahmer's gonna take us out. Come on!
Bringing you the best in New York sports talks and entertainment. And we are out of here. Thanks, Tim. Well done for getting through.